Afternoon. Welcome to Tech Talk with Steve. And Jean and Kevin adopted her.
Hello, and thanks for joining today.
Lisa, she's in the know. Welcome, Lisa.
Yeah.
We might have a couple of extra guests.
Introduce people to what the NSA is. I'd like to start with
You make sure you set your test up properly.
It's going to ask me the diameter of what I'm wrapping.
There's some significant difference here. So
with an F-150
is along that channel.
let's say a user can successfully reach a server.
Notes are all in the closet, and you're walking around the office area with the main.
And what Test Pro is doing right now, and again, I'm using a single Test Pro into a network.
They went out to the customer site, which is very impressive.
Hello, welcome to Tech Talk with Steve, episode 37, What's New at AEM Precision Cable Test. My name is Steve Cowles, product manager with AEM, and I am your host. So we're going to talk a little bit about what happened at BICSI. We'll talk about some new things coming with our flagship product, Test Pro, as well as our NSA. So those of you that were at BICSI, it was a really good show out there in Vegas for the Fall Conference. I was privileged to be able to speak at a master class with some very talented people from Superior Essex and Volt Server and MHT Lighting on a session on sustainability and smart buildings. Really, really good session. Great speakers there. And then I ended up having to come back early thanks to Hurricane Ian. Fortunately, we didn't suffer any major damage, so all is well here. And we're back at it. It feels like it's been a long time. It's been 4 weeks since we did one live because we were recorded during BICSI. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And we're going to be talking a little bit about a new user interface, which you can see here. I've got my usual setup, but you'll notice this looks a little different. The display looks a little different than it does if you've been following our sessions. So there's some new things we're going to talk about with this new interface that's going to be coming in the firmware update that will be released very soon. And what I'll do now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a quick PowerPoint. We'll go through some stuff, talk about some of these changes, talk about what's new, what's coming, and and then time permitting, at the end we'll go ahead and hook up live and run a couple tests on that new UI. Just for anybody that isn't aware of who AEM is, we've been around since the 90s. Fairly large company that is heavily involved in the semiconductor market. So a big portion of the corporate business is in testing solutions for high-speed processors used in networking equipment. So the processors that are used in all of our network gear that we actually hook up our ICT cabling to. So they discovered a team of engineers who'd been in the test and measurement industry for a long time, who developed testers for other well-known manufacturers. And this group of engineers and R&D specialists were developing a new tester called Test Pro. AEM liked what they saw so much, they wanted to incorporate the network analyzer functionality of Test Pro into their system solutions for the high-speed processor testing that they do. And they acquired this company of engineers and developers and brought Test Pro to market in addition to incorporating these things into their existing testing infrastructure. And that's how Test Pro was born, and then subsequently the NSA after that. Pardon me. We are actively involved in the typical global standards organizations. We participate in various committees with the IEEE 802.3, ISO IEC 11801, the TIA TR42 committee. We're also members of BICSI and the Open Alliance. So Test Pro, multifunction cable certifier, just so everybody is on the same page here, everybody gets a foundation to know what we're talking about. We're going to be talking about Test Pro and NSA here, and we're going to talk about what's changing with them. So key differentiators on this product: certifies Cat 3 through Cat 8, 6-second Cat 6A auto test. That is the fastest in the entire industry. It's a 3 gigahertz platform, so not only will it go up to 2 gigahertz for Cat 8, but we're ready to go beyond that for whatever's coming after Cat 8, and it'll simply be the addition of a new test adapter rather than having to change any measurement boards or test handsets or anything else. Multi-mode, single-mode fiber certification, including hybrid-powered optical fiber. And if you're not familiar with hybrid-powered fiber, we've got a couple sessions that talked about that. But essentially, you have a pair of copper conductors under the same jacket as the fiber to power things like a remote camera or a PoE extender, something that needs to be powered, but there's no local power available. And you provide that power over that pair of copper conductors. And with TestPro, we can validate that copper. So we do a resistance measurement along with the optical loss test all in one. PoE configuration validation, including PoE load testing to ensure you're getting the load at the endpoint that you need, that real power out there that you need for that powered device. We qualify multi-gig link speed under traffic load and PoE up to 10 measurement. Other sessions that have talked in detail about that, but essentially it's making sure that you don't have excessive noise that's going to interfere with your network's performance. Coax testing capability, single pair Ethernet capability, long haul cable deployments beyond 100 meters, and we can set up custom test limits. The TestPro will allow you to test up to 1,000 meters and beyond that, especially when it comes to single pair Ethernet, because it goes even farther for the testing requirements. Wired and wireless network connectivity. And again, we've got sessions that have talked about all of these in detail. So we're really just going to touch on these and then we'll get to the details about what's changing. Main and remote both are fully functional. So one main can talk to many remotes. There's not really a limit to how many remotes you can connect to if you needed to do that. You can initiate the test from both ends. You can split the units up to be two mains. If you're doing PoE and multi-gig and network type testing, they can be used independently. So you essentially have two testers in one. Warranty program approvals. This is just a quick snapshot. You can see all the usual suspects here. This list is as of August 4th of this year, and it continues to grow. So please check back to our website periodically to see updates. The Network Service Assistant looks very similar to the TestPro, but it is a single handset that tests into a remote terminator. And Certolite is at the heart of this product. And Certolite is essentially a single-ended auto test that is compliant to TIA 1152A, and it will test the same types of parameters that you're going to see in a certification test. Most of the same parameters are tested, but it's not bi-directional, so it is not certification. You need to be clear about that. If you need certification, you're supporting a manufacturer warranty, you definitely want to look at TestPro. If you don't need certification and you're doing other things, moves, edge, changes work, network management, network text, that kind of thing, or even regular cabling jobs that maybe for whatever reason you don't need to certify, TestPro or NSA would be perfect for that. NSA also has fiber optic testing, just like the TestPro does, but it's going to be a loopback rather than a tier 1 bidirectional or dual-ended single direction test. And it'll measure DC voltage on hybrid power. It will not measure resistance like TestPro will. TestPro will do both the resistance and the voltage. PoE configuration exactly the same as TestPro. It does all the same tests for PoE and multi-gig, and we have coax testing now, which is new. One of the new things we're going to be talking about. For NSA, and the wired and wireless network connectivity is exactly the same as you would get with a TestPro. So the new user interface, we teased this at the beginning, showing that tester on camera and my screen on the display. So we premiered this at the BICSI Fall Conference. We announced it right before the conference, and this is the new UI. So there are workflow improvements to it. Your basic project setup is going to be the same. So if you're used to using a TestPro already, your project setup flow is going to be almost identical to what you're doing now. So you're not going to have to learn a new way to do that project setup. So you'll essentially have the same flow that you've had before. And with a few minor changes, but the workflow is going to stay exactly the same. It's some of the cases it's streamlined. When it comes to the basic settings of the tester, we've moved things around a bit there when you're setting up things like date and time and all those kind of things. We've improved the flow there. So that's going to flow a little differently, but we felt it was important to keep the project setup and running of the tests nearly identical to what you're already used to using, because we don't want you to have to learn something new all over again. It's got a modernized, updated appearance, and this is aligned with the AEM branding. You've probably noticed our branding has various colors of green in the branding. You'll see that flow throughout our new user interface on the tester. And there is an improved user experience for all Test Pro and NSA products already deployed in the field, and even more so on the new enhanced units with a capacitive display. That's a little teaser. One of the things we're going to talk about, the improvement to the new SKUs that we're going to talk about, the new enhanced SKUs. So Test Data Pro, the results management software, also is changing with version 4.0, an improved appearance, some additional functionality. You can see in the lower left here that we're actually going to allow you to add additional columns here to your summary. So you'll be able to see more parameters in that initial summary. So that should be helpful as well. So this is just a snapshot. I want to go through some of these really quickly so you can see some of the screens, what they'll look like in the various functions of each of these testers now. So Test Pro Copper certification, again, you're going to have the same type of results. You'll be able to see your graphs, your shield TDRs, your crosstalk plots. All this is going to be very similar, but it's going to be presented just in this cleaner, more modernized interface. All the same test results are here. It's not there's no change to what test you're getting. There's no change to the physical product itself. This is important to mention. The Test Pro product and the NSA product are the same test platform. We are not changing the test platform. We're not going to create a situation where you're going to have to buy a whole new unit because another one's being obsolete. This is the exact same test platform. We're just doing some enhancements, adding some things to the kits, a new improved LCD on the handsets as well, but there is no physical change. So this is the identically same tester that if you've already got a Test Pro, what you're going to see here today doesn't mean that your Test Pro is old and obsolete. It's just we're making some improvements to the systems. So again, here's your snapshot of all the tests that you would get in the Copper certification. Now here's the Network Service Assistant, Certalite. For those of you not familiar, Certalite is what we define as Qualification Plus. And Qualification Plus means you get quite a bit more than what you get with a typical qualifier or validator. We do length, delay skew, loop resistance, insertion loss, return loss, crosstalk, ACRF, PSACRF, and then some of the informational parameters, the network compliance, resistance unbalanced, peer-to-pair. We provide ACRN, PSACRN, impedance, return loss, TDR, next TDR, and shield locator TDR. So those last three are TDRs. This is also the same as on Test Pro, where you get a TDR trace to pinpoint where your return loss is on the cable for the RL locator, where your crosstalk is along the cable for the next locator, and where your shield anomalies are. So if you have a shield issue where maybe a shield is partially compromised, you can pinpoint it with that shield TDR. And the nice thing about that is on a basic wire map tester, a partially compromised shield still looks good on a wire map. It still shows you continuity on a wire map. Without a shield locator TDR to alert you that you have an anomaly and then be able to trace down where it is along the cable, you won't know that there's a problem. So this is an important feature if you're doing shielded cabling. So Test Pro, as I mentioned before, also has fiber certification. These are just some screenshots. Again, it's tier 1, multi-mode, single mode, dual-ended, single direction, dual-ended, bidirectional, and all the hybrid fiber stuff that we talked about. So the screens are going to look a little different now, still very similar to what they are. Network Service Assistant, the NSA fiber testing, is going to be loopback. So it's a single end. It's done through a loopback adapter at the far end, or you could do it with just a regular patch cord test reference cord at the far end if you wanted to do a loopback test that way as well. So it's important to note, again, it's a loopback fiber test, so it is not going to be considered certification. For certification, you want to have a dual-ended test, either single direction or bidirectional, but it needs to be a dual-ended test. But again, this is the Network Service Assistant is not targeted at certification type jobs. It's more targeted for network managers, network techs, people doing jobs that maybe don't need certification, those type of things. Both Test Pro and NSA have the power over Ethernet validation capability, and these are a couple of the screenshots here. So those are going to look a little different from what you're used to seeing, but the flow is going to be almost identical. And then Test Pro and NSA, again, both offer the multi-gig Ethernet qualification with SNR up to 10 gig. And SNR, essentially, we're putting traffic on that line. We're looking at the noise relative to the strength of that signal that we're putting on the line, and we're showing that in an SNR, a signal to noise ratio. It's important to have a higher number. The lower the number, the worse your noise is relative to the signal. Again, both Test Pro and NSA have the network connectivity testing, so all that's still there. Your switch detail, VLAN information, discovered devices. With the addition of the Etamax USB Wi-Fi adapter, you can do Wi-Fi ping trace route on both wired and wireless. For Wi-Fi, you can do a roaming signal strength test. So all that is available. The results management software, we talked briefly about that earlier. There's the PC-based and the cloud-based. Those of you that are already familiar with Test Pro know this. You'll see there's a little bit of an appearance change there that we indicated earlier as well. And results management is important. It's important to have test report for your customers because it provides that customer with a good feeling about the quality of your job. It protects you, the installer, and in the case of certification, it supports the manufacturer's warranty. And this gives you all the test results, details about how the equipment that was used, when it was calibrated, what adapters were used. So all that detail is in the test reports. So let's talk a little bit about the kits. So the Test Pro kits, the new enhanced kits will all have this E. So, you know, the CB100 K11 is now a K11E. The K50 is a K50E. So you'll see these E's in all the part numbers now. And one thing to point out, Test Pro is a scalable platform. So any of these can be, you can start with any of these and add whatever features you need to later. So if you started with a K50E, for example, which is your basic copper certification kit with permanent link and channel adapters, you can always add to it as you go. You can add the multi-gig and PoE adapters. You can add the fiber adapters. So all of this is expandable and scalable. Every Test Pro handset, and NSA for that matter, includes a 1 gig SNR Ethernet connectivity testing capability and network test capability via the side Ethernet port. So you've got a 1 gig port in the side. Whether you got the smart building kit with the multi-gig capability or not, you can still do 1 gig SNR through that side port, and you can add the Wi-Fi with that Etamax adapter. Now, all of our smart building kits in the new kits, they give you the ability to do PoE load testing, the multi-gig Ethernet, Wi-Fi analysis again can be added with the adapter. But we're going to go a step further with these kits and show you some of the things that we're now going to add to them. NSA kits, again, scalable platform, very similar to the Test Pro, but again, it's single-ended. Again, the new SKUs have an E on them, and we're going to talk in detail here about what these E's do for us. So what are the enhancements? What are we changing? What's different? So right out of the gate, both the NSA and the Test Pro will include the improved brighter LCD display with a capacitive touchscreen. Now, I could show this to you on camera, but it's really hard to tell the difference looking at a capacitive display versus a resistive display on camera and see what's different. So the capacitive is brighter than the LCD. Now, the specs for them say they're both equally bright, but when you look at a capacitive display versus a resistive display, it just naturally looks brighter. A good example of a capacitive touch display is your cell phone, where you can actually use your fingers to type on a keyboard on that cell phone, and it's reacting to the touch of your finger. Whereas a resistive touch, and those of you that have been using Test Pro for a few years will know this, resistive touch, you typically need a stylus. Me personally, I'll take a ballpoint pen without the pen refill in it, so that there's no point, and I just use the body of the ballpoint pen as a stylus, mainly because it's a little bigger for my bigger hands don't like little skinny styluses, so, or styli, however we say that. So that's one thing. So it's that using a hard stylus versus using your finger. You can also, on a capacitive display, use a soft stylus. And you may have seen these. Some people are putting them on the end of pens that we get as giveaways at trade shows. You'll see like a little rubber bulb, is the only way I can describe it, on the end of the pen. And that's what we would consider a soft stylus. So that works. And I can tell you from experience, using the new capacitive display that I've been playing around with for a while, you can now use your finger on the touch screen and type on the keyboard. Now, previously with our resistive display, you could use your finger to select things. The stylus works better, but when you got to the keyboard, it was a little tough because anybody that's got big fingers knows on a resistive display, once you press enough, you might be pressing 2 keys versus 1. So with the new capacitive display, it's greatly improved when it comes to using your finger rather than having to use a stylus on the keyboard. The Test Pro is going to have some changes, and then I'll also break down the Network Service Assistant changes. So with Test Pro, the channel and the permanent link adapters are both rated for Cat 8.1 in the new enhanced SKUs. So that's an improvement from the previous Cat 6A permanent link adapters that were included with our Test Pro SKUs for the last year or so. The cord on the new Cat 8.1 permanent link adapter is a much more robust cord. So that is going to be a benefit to you as well. So now you'll be able to do all the way up through Cat 8.1 without having to purchase any additional items. If you want to go to Cat 8.2, because you know Test Pro can go all the way up through Cat 8, Cat 8.2 is going to involve using the GG45 or the Terra connectors, and we have those adapters available as well. So our fiber kits, when it gets into the enhanced SKUs, the enhanced SKU fiber kits, the K11E, the K51E, the K61E, which already include the multi-mode and single mode testing adapters, are also now going to include the USB fiber inspection probe. So that previously had to be purchased separately, along with the necessary test interface adapters. So some of you that are testing SCs know that we have we come out of the box historically with the capability to test LC. And we've got adapter kits that give you the interface adapters for your test adapters, and so the interface connectors and the necessary test reference cords for doing SC, and we also have varieties for ST. So now what we're going to do in these new enhanced kits, in addition to that fiber inspection probe, we're going to include the necessary interface connectors and test reference cords for testing SC cabling. If you order the fiber kits, the fiber adapter kits separately, those are still only going to come with LCs in them, and you would have to add those kits. But if you're ordering the kit with the copper fiber combo or the copper tester only, the K11E, those will include the SC capability as well. The enhanced Test Pro K60E and K61E, these are our smart building kits. So when we talk about smart building kits, these are the ones that do the multi-gig, the PoE, which can be added to any other tester as well. We're now going to include, this says one Cat 6Q, that's a new category I invented. It's Cat 6A patch cord adapter for use in testing Cat 6A MPTL. So when you test MPTL, you're supposed to use a patch cord adapter on the modular plug end. And so we're going to include that Cat 6A. If you need to do 5E or 6, you're going to have to get those patch cord adapters separately, but we will include the Cat 6A. And to answer the question before it comes up, no, you cannot test Cat 5E or Cat 6 MPTL with a Cat 6A patch cord adapter. Patch cord adapters have to be specific to the category per the standards. We'll also have bundled SKUs, and you'll get approximately 5% discount on the list price compared to ordering the individual SKUs with extended care. The two different bundles, we're going to have the enhanced kits bundled with 1 year of extended care as a single SKU, and it'll be 5%, around 5% less than getting those two things separately. And then we're going to have a 4-pack of the K50E, so the copper certification kit with permanent link and channel adapters, targeted really for large system integrators and contractors who might want to buy it as a bundle. Just get a 4-pack of these. All 4 will come with that 1 year warranty. It'll just be one SKU you have to order. Network Service Assistant, the enhancements there, we're adding a new coax test kit to that, so that's available now. And the NSA kits sold with fiber capability, the K31E and the K61E, will now also include the interface adapters and the test reference cords for the SC testing. And this kit already came with the fiber scope, so that's not changing. So the Network Service Assistant, the NSA kits with fiber, already included the scope. So some changes to our warranty and extended care. We've had a 2-year warranty. We are offering an upgrade to your 2-year warranty, where by registering on our website, you register your product within 90 days of your purchase, we'll extend that by 3 years to give you a total of 5 years on your manufacturer warranty against defects. Test adapters will carry a 1-year warranty. Extended care, for those not familiar with it, extended care is kind of like a bumper to bumper protection. It runs concurrent with your manufacturer warranty. It's purchased separately in a 1 or a 3-year flavor, or in one of those bundles where you have it included. And it covers non-warranty damage, repair, or replacement at our discretion of damaged products. Screen replacements, those kind of things if you break a screen. Free annual repair of covered adapters. So typically your permanent link and channels, you'll want to look at replacing once a year. Usually your fiber adapters are going to last much longer. But any adapters that are included under that, you would be eligible if necessary. And then for fiber adapters, if you purchase the kit with the fiber and the extended care, those would be covered as well for repair or replacement if needed during that period. And if you purchase your kit for copper only and then add the fiber later, you need to make sure you purchase that extended care if you wanted it on those fiber adapters that you purchased separately. They will not automatically be covered. Annual calibration is included with extended care, custom test limit development, major code and feature updates. All this is pretty much the same as it has been. And just as always, extended care, if you don't have extended care, you can get calibration separately for Test Pro. We are running a Q4 promotion. So if you purchase a Test Pro or Network Service Assistant by December 31st of this year, along with either a 1-year or a 3-year extended care, and you'll receive the following upon product registration within 90 days of taking receipt of your equipment. So it's important to register it within 90 days. And first off, we're going to update your 5-year warranty from a 2 to a 5. That's going to be automatic as long as you register within 90 days. And then you'll get another free year of extended care on top of what you already purchased. So if you purchased a 1-year extended care plan, you'll get an additional year. If you purchased a 3-year, you'll get an additional year. So you'll take the 1 year to 2, and you'll take the 3-year to a 4-year plan. So that is the Q4 promotion. For information on that, email sales@aem-test.com for more information. You can even go onto our website and email customer care, and we can take care of you there. So our contact information, again, here for support, tech support, customer care at aem-test.com, or order support, sales@aem-test.com. Again, that's an email you want to take note of if you want to take advantage of that promotion. We're contactable nationwide in the U.S. toll free at 833-572-6916, worldwide at 480-534-1232. And phone support is available based on the Phoenix, Arizona time zone. That's Mountain Standard Time from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Emails to customer care are typically answered within 24 hours, but usually it's much, much quicker than that, usually within a couple hours, because we've got people all over the globe monitoring these. So I'm going to go back to my camera here real quick. I see we have a few minutes left. I'm just going to plug in and run a quick auto test so you can see this on the new user interface, and then we'll just take a quick look. So I'm just going to go ahead and run a quick auto test. Again, if you've seen Test Pro demonstrated before, it's going to look very familiar just in the new user interface. And again, note we're seeing all the information on both ends. This is my remote over here on the camera, and then my main unit is on the display here that I've used a VNC application to get into. And I can go in and look at my crosstalk plots and things like that. I can go see my, I failed crosstalk, so where is it? I can go into my next locator, and I can see my biggest part of crosstalk is that way out here at the far end. If I click on that spike about 27 meters out, I can do the same thing on the remote, and it'll tell me it's actually closer to the remote. So you can do that from both ends. So I am going to stop sharing my screen, and then I'm going to go back on camera here and see if we have any questions. All right, so let's take a look. Chuck Bowser, glad you survived the storm. Yeah, me too, bud. Hope everything's okay out there by Tampa for you. Chris says hi. No questions popping up here, so I think we're good. Hey, Gary Rogers, good to see you. So I think that is going to be a wrap for this episode. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. Again, thank you, and we'll see you in a couple weeks on our next episode.